All right, we've got a pitch clock on us, so I want to make sure that we get this done right. How much more time do I have left? Oh my God, it's running out. They're going to call a strike on us. It's Locked On MLB. Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about all the Major League Baseball. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Look, there's my lower third. You can call me Sully. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. Today's episode, which is being dropped on the 8th day of March 2023, we are going to be talking a little bit about the pitch clock, why I like it, the WBC, how can I like it more, and the new cores, the best teammates, lineups, groups. What teams are going to have the new cores? Much like the Yankees had in the 90s and the 2000s, much like the Giants had in the 2010s. This is much too big a podcast to do by myself. So right over there, who do we got?
It's me, Miller Thomas, host of the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. You can follow my personal Twitter account at CreatorThomas24. You can also follow the show account, Locked On Diamondbacks, both Twitter and Instagram. Just type it in the little search bar. And please hit subscribe as we're closing in on 400 subscribers on the Locked On Diamondbacks YouTube channel.
And you can follow the show here at Locked On MLB Pod. Same handle for Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. I think I'm still on Mastodon. I don't remember. Just type in Sully Baseball. You'll find me. And we are closing in on 1 billion subscribers on YouTube. We're several hundred million off there. Just like I felt like I was a little off there. And Millard.
Yes.
You're the young one. I'm the handsome one. What now? We're going to try to keep the pace of play of this podcast down a little bit. We're not going to have one of our long marathons. So we're on the clock. We talked a little bit in one of the previous episodes about the pitch clock, but now that we've seen it implemented, we've seen some of some of the ups and downs and it being how it's being done in play. And we're seeing some people go, why was that a strike and everything? We saw Eric Hosmer get called for that, in an at-bat where he was playing games in the batter's box. But we're also seeing the games are going by faster. We're also seeing the pace of play has improved. We're seeing that people are getting in the box. We're seeing that pitchers are, winding up and throwing, and we're seeing the game move along in a nice fashion. Some people don't like it. A lot of people who have been accused, and I like it, being accused of being old fogies. I'm an old fogey. I'm over 50, and I've been resistant to some of baseball changes. Ghost runner at second is still a travesty. I still don't want a universal DH. I love the pitch clock. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. And yes, there are kinks to work out. That's why we have spring training. But tell me your thoughts on it. And now that we've seen it for a couple of weeks in some spring training games.
Oh, I mean, I absolutely love the pitch clock. I love the idea of getting to the action, of course, quicker and more efficiently. Now, maybe we do need to add a few more ticks on the pitch clock because 15 seconds can be kind of quick between pitches if there's nobody on. But what I don't like is the discourse surrounding the pitch clock for anyone that feels like there might be less strategy now in the pre-pitch with the batters, whatever they do in their routine to kind of throw off the motion of the pitchers, or just the fact that some people think that the batters and pitchers don't have enough time between pitches. And some of that might be true, but I feel like the discourse around the pitch clock, it's almost like we're just discounting baseball players as athletes now. I feel like we don't consider baseball players to be high IQ athletes. Like they can't figure out within 15 seconds what a pitcher should do with the next pitch, what a batter should do, what he should be looking for. Like, I feel like because of this pitch clock, now we're assuming these athletes, these cream of the crop athletes, they're just not smart enough to figure out what to do in between pitch to pitch, and there's not enough time. And I feel like I don't like that discourse. These are the best baseball players in the world. These are the best of the best. And I think they are more than adept at learning on the fly and adjusting to these new rules and settings that they have, because I feel like too many people are just discounting and saying the pitch clock is bad. Let's get rid of it because these guys don't have enough time to strategize. And I'm like, these are the best of the best. You know what? Sometimes quarterbacks, they don't get the play in on time and they have to take a delay of game. That's going to happen sometimes with these batters and pitchers. Sometimes they're just going to have to take a strike because they weren't able to strategize quick enough. And that's okay. We see it in basketball. If you don't get your shot off in time, you take a buzzer beater violation. Maybe they need to add a few more seconds to the pitch clock, but the idea that these guys can't figure out between 15 and 30 seconds, either if you're a pitcher, what pitch to throw next, if you're a batter, what you should keen on next, I don't like that surrounding the discourse, because I think we're undervaluing how smart these baseball players actually are.
Also, I know I'm not supposed to say this. Maybe this will simplify the game a little bit. Maybe this will, I mean, look at, I think I think there's been a revolution of information and everything. I think that's fantastic. But I mean, the example, I've given this example many times, but I can't think of a better example when overthinking stats can come about, and overthinking the information we have, was that game I went to in Anaheim where the Angels had 2 on, the Angels and the Mariners, 2 on, nobody out, 6th inning. Jared Kelenic is up. If I mispronounced his name, he was batting like 160 at the time. And they took out the pitcher because I'm sure the stats showed that this pitcher warming up was slightly better than the pitcher on the mound. But it's a 160 hitter. A major league pitcher should be able to get that. That's like what an American League pitcher would be hitting in a interleague game. 2 outs, nobody on. We're going to stop the game because a piece of analysis showed that this pitcher is slightly better than that. How about you say, hey, get the 160 batter out. We get to move on. Instead, pitcher comes out, new pitcher comes in. They warm up. Guess what? Kelenic made the out. So everyone walks back. Everyone walks in. They warm up. And it's like you ground the game to a halt because of a piece of information you had. Or all the times, like, oh God, this one's coming up. It's in my hat. Let me check what's in the hat. Like, or you have you trust the catcher to give them a game plan. I mean, were players, did they used to be smarter, or are we overloading ourselves with information to the point where, like, hey, what if you just throw a decent pitch and see what happens?
I like this.
Why don't we get them where they can ground out to short, see what happens, instead of, oh, wait a minute, now that's here and here. Like, sometimes it is, sometimes it's a game of chess, and sometimes it's a game of Connect Four. I mean, like, it doesn't always have to be this massive example. Well, what do we do here? I don't know. Like, it was I don't know if Stan Musial, one of the great players of all time, was teammates with Curt Flood. I've been reading way too much about Curt Flood and his influence on the game. And he played with Stan Musial. And he said, and Stan was just a brilliant hitter, one of the great offensive players of all time. And Curt Flood asked him, well, what's your strategy when you're at the plate? And he says, when I see a good pitch, I hit the hell out of it. Now,
what strategy?
I mean, yes, there's a mid ground. Having all this information, everything is very helpful to win, but also sometimes throw a pitch, see if you can get him out.
I love this take, Sully, because we've talked about a lot in baseball about how sometimes analytics is kind of too overbearing on the game, right? When you go back to that 2020 World Series, as we were talking before we got on the mic, when you look at the Tampa Bay Rays taking out Blake Snell when he's cruising, like, if you're just rolling through the game and you're just going based off, like, we need to bring back the feel of the game, right? Sometimes it gets too analytics and too black and white based. And I think the pitch clock can bring back the feel of the game where it's like, you know what? I'm just feeling my fastball today. I don't even care if this is a fastball count. I'm just going to let it fly because that's the best pitch that I'm feeling today.
Or do your thinking quicker.
Yeah.
You're a big hockey guy. You're a very big hockey guy. How often when they're going up and down the ice, you say, wait a second, hold on. Did everyone, let's slow it down a second. Now, granted, it's a different sport, but you still have strategy and everything like that to deal with on those things. We're talking about the pace of play. The pace of play, and I can't stress this enough, pace of play and length of game are not the same thing. They're not synonymous. It's the amount of action that's taking place on the game. When the catcher comes running up to say, now remember him, you do this, you do this, you do this for every damn batter. How about giving the pitcher a little bit of credit, saying my stuff can get him out? I am not anti-analytics. I just fervently believe that every single analytical addition to the game in the last generation or so has slowed the game down. What analytical trend has added to the pace of the game? If I'm wrong, send me a tweet at Sully Baseball. Working the counts, focusing only on the 3 true outcomes, not caring about strikeouts, focusing on the home runs or the walks, taking away the running game, going station to station, making sure that you're running the pitch count up, lots of pitching changes throughout the game. I mean, every one of those things, while analytically accurate, slows the game down.
Mm-hmm. And listen, these guys still have scouting reports. The pitchers and batters both have scouting reports. So when a pitcher's on the mound and he sees Jose Abreu coming up to the batter's box or whatever, he's like, all right, I have to keep it away from the middle of the strike zone. I have to keep it low because that's his hot zone. And also you're going to know, I'm a pitcher. If I get him my 1-2 count, I know what my put away pitch is. I already know what my go-to pitch is going to be when I have 2 strikes on the call. So I'm going to look at the tendencies of a batter. And I'm going to know what my go-to pitch is. And I'm still going to execute my game plan. Same thing with the batters. They're going to go up to the batter's box and they're going to say, okay, when it's a 2-0 count, I know this guy likes to throw a fastball in that situation. I'm just going to be waiting on it. You're still going to have scouting reports where these guys have pre-information going up to the batter's box when they're on the mound, getting ready to pitch the ball. And so it's like, yeah, maybe pitch between each pitch. You have to speed up your process a little bit quicker of what you're going to know. But these guys have general game plans going into each at bat of what they want to do. So it's not like they're just going up there with no thinking out the blue of, oh, I don't know what I'm going to pitch or what I'm going to hit today.
And have the best and use the best information you have. But guess what, folks? Get in there. Do your homework between innings. There's a universal DH. So you have time to go through it. That's why you have a pitching coach. Sit down. When this guy comes up, you do this. If he's someone on base, you do that.
Yeah. Have you been to a game for spring training yet?
Ever?
Son? No, yeah, ever. Have you been to a game this year with the pitch clock yet?
No, I have not. No, I've not flown to Arizona nor Florida yet.
Okay. That's, I mean, you should come visit, your boy out here in Arizona.
I'll visit my boy out there, but
yeah, but I was just going to say, I went to a game last Saturday. You don't even realize the pitch clock. Like somehow my spring training game still lasted 3 hours, but it's not even something that you're aware of. I don't think there was any violations, and like pitch to pitch, you're not thinking, oh my God, he got that pitch in within 15 seconds. That was so fast. Like you're just casually talking and then the action is just going. And it's not even something that you're thinking about when you're sitting at a baseball game.